Bringing you another video today on the British Army jungle boot, the basic design of which dates back to just after the Second World War, 1947, 1948, around there. They are similar to the Second World War American canvas jungle boot. I imagine they were inspired by, I understand the original version of these were made in a brown canvas, but predominantly you see them made in a green canvas. These ones here are 1960s versions, most probably. Yeah, the first sort of design didn't have the reinforcement on the ankle here and didn't have the reinforced toe, so it was just canvas with the rubber just came up to here. They are essentially high Converse style boots. They're very, very comfortable to wear in the dry. They're much maligned. They were much maligned in the jungle for two reasons. One is they're very flimsy. They don't hold up well. A lot of them were made out in Malaysia, where the British were of course fighting in the Malayan Emergency and then the Indonesia Borneo Confrontation. The other fault with these is they don't actually have any drain holes at all. As you can see here, there's no, along the sole, there is no drainage. So the point to where the rubber sits, any water in there is pulled and will stay there, and indeed the canvas, once it swells by getting wet, that retains water as well. So they're much maligned in a documentary called Jungle Green, which I thoroughly recommend you watch the full version of, but I'll put a clip in here and give you an idea of the soldier's opinion of the British jungle boot.
The jungle boot will last, if you're lucky, 2 days or 3 days on patrol. It doesn't drain, and this keeps your feet wet. You're walking in a puddle of water the whole time, your feet go rotten. It seems such a basic element of kit for going into the jungle. But we've been operating in the jungle for many, many years now, and one would have thought that a decent jungle boot would have come out of all this.
They were in service through the 1960s. Into the early 1970s, there are some photographs, particularly I've noted, of Royal Marines. There's a series of photographs of Royal Marines in various different numbers of dress, and in the early issue of Tropical DPM, they're still wearing this style of jungle boot. These were superseded by both American-made jungle boots, which were bought in for use, which are obviously far superior in design, and later on they also made, I believe in the late 70s, 80s, they made a jungle version of the DMS boot, which compared with the American design is somewhat inferior again. So the current British Army jungle boot is essentially a copy of the late production Vietnam jungle boot with the Panama sole, etc. But these were in service, you see them, Malayan Emergency, the Borneo Indonesia Confrontation. You even see them in the early stages of Vietnam. The Australians who had been fighting in Malaya and then subsequently in Borneo, they were issued with these from British stocks essentially out in the Far East, and they did take them with them to Vietnam. So you see very early photographs of Australian involvement with Vietnam, and they're wearing these. Not what you want to be wearing when there's the possibility of punji traps. There's no metal in these soles, it's a thin layer of rubber. As I say, they're very comfortable to wear in the dry, but not so much in the wet. There's only very limited markings in these. There's a size stamp inside, which I will try and show you now. But that's pretty much it. These are unissued stock. You can occasionally turn up, keep an eye out on eBay, places like that, and militaria shows. Quite a nice thing to have, quite an interesting piece of military kit. And yeah, I'll try and show you the stamping inside. You can just see there's a simple size stamp in the inner sole there, size 10. Other than that, there are no markings at all. There's nothing on the sole. There's nothing to show manufacturer or anything like that. Some of them do have that. I have a friend who has a collection of various different types of these. In the future, I might be able to do a video of some of the boots in his collection. Fingers crossed. But we'll see whether that can happen or not. For now, that's it, so bye for now.